During the creation of video games, developers often like to sneak in Easter eggs and secrets for players to find and enjoy. We've already covered some Easter eggs before, but there are so many that we're going to work our way through some more. Here are 15 more of the greatest Easter eggs you probably don't know. HADOUKEN in Mega Man X. Through a complex series of steps, you can utilize Street Fighter's classic HADOUKEN as a weapon in Mega Man X. You'll need to complete a difficult series of jumps 3 times after defeating the armored armadillo. You must also be at full health and input the correct quarter circle actions to unleash the fireball from X's metallic hands. Portal's keyboard in Half-Life Opposing Force. The letters on the Aperture Science keyboard strewn throughout the laboratory are unique. They don't have the same configuration of letters as the ones we spend all day clicking away at. There is actually an Easter egg hidden within. The letters can be used to spell Adrian Shepard, who was the protagonist of Half-Life Opposing Force. It's a difficult one to find, which makes it much more entertaining once you discover it. George Lucas in Zombies Ate My Neighbors. In Zombies Ate My Neighbors' password screen, if you enter QSDZ, you'll be treated to the credits level. There are no flesh-eating monstrosities here, just George Lucas and some of the game's developers. They stand in an office covered with spiderwebs and filled with small cubicles with the LucasArts logos plastered on the walls. It's a nice nod to LucasArts, the company that created the bizarre classic. Chicken in Gears of War 3. In one of the early levels of Gears of War 3, large pipes litter the stage. Stand in front of each of these until Marcus yells out and a chicken will pop out. Put a couple of rounds into it and it will more than triple in size and gain a shiny gold coat. Oh, and the ability to breathe fire. It's more goofy than anything, but it's still worth seeing for yourself. Corpse of Psychonauts Raz in Alice Madness Returns. Hidden deep within the twisted world of Alice Madness Returns is an interesting nod to the fantastic platformer Psychonauts. In the depths of the game's 4th level are a series of tunnels. Slide down to the bottom and you'll find the skeleton of Raz sitting in an armchair, arms outstretched like he's ready to plunge into someone's subconscious. Adventure has hidden credits. Atari made the decision in the 1980s to remove the names of creators from the game boxes. Warren Robinett, the creator of Adventure, was not a fan of this move and snuck his own digital signature into the game. By following a complex series of instructions, you can lead your square-like character to a screen that gives credit where credit is due. ABSTERGO Industries files in Far Cry 3. Many of the recent Ubisoft titles boast similar features and structures, but an Easter egg in Far Cry 3 hinted at a larger shared universe. Hidden under a layer of rust, players can find the ABSTERGO logo on the island that serves as the setting of Far Cry 3. This could hint at a connection behind the power-hungry company and the crazy environments of the Far Cry games. SAMUS'S Gunship in Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. Some of the stages in the new Donkey Kong titles switch things up by casting the entire foreground in shadow, turning the level into a living silhouette. The backgrounds still shine through and even hide some interesting details. In one of the early levels of Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, you can see Samus's ship decaying among the trees. Who knows how the bounty hunter ended up in the jungle, but here's hoping that we'll get a team up between the 2 lovable characters. Hatch from Lost in X-Men Origins Wolverine. The X-Men Origins Wolverine game is much better than the movie it is based on. It also has some top-notch Easter eggs to boot. As you storm through the jungle during the game's first level, you'll come across a familiar-looking hatch. It's the same one found in the TV show Lost, the same one that held the fate of the survivors of Oceanic Flight 815 within its metal walls. Journey Protagonists in the Unfinished Swan. Climb to the top of a tower in one of the later levels of the Unfinished Swan, and a surprise will await you when you gaze through a telescope. Zoom in towards the moon, and on top of its bright surface, you will see 2 of the cloaked figures and a mountain from the game Journey, in a thoughtful homage to another artful title. Xbox Prototype in Ninja Gaiden 2. Ninja Gaiden 2 continued the bloody antics of Ryu Hayabusa. At one point in the game, as he wanders through a Japanese museum, you can gaze at many ancient Japanese artifacts. One of these is slightly out of place. A prototype of the original Xbox sits among the rows of historical objects, gathering dust along with everything else. Portal's Still Alive song in Left 4 Dead 2. Valve's games pay homage to one another in small but thoughtful ways. After the success of Portal, Left 4 Dead 2 hit a small nod to the puzzle game within the zombie apocalypse. Interacting with a particular jukebox will cause the song Still Alive, which played during the credits of Portal, to blast out over the hordes of the undead. Final Fantasy XXVII poster in Deus Ex Human Revolution. Deus Ex Human Revolution takes place in the distant future. Technology has gotten the better of humanity, and Square Enix has continued to pump out Final Fantasy sequels. On the wall of Frank Pritchard's office is a poster for Final Fantasy XXVII. Even now, in 2017, we're only 12 games away from this future, so maybe it isn't so absurd. Thief the Dark Project referenced in Dishonored. Once you reach the Assassin's hideout in central Rudshore, you'll be able to witness an Easter egg that references one of Dishonored's greatest influences. You'll hear a voice instructing an assassin to sneak around a room without being seen in order to engage a guard. This is the same tutorial dialogue that is given to players in Thief the Dark Project. Naughty Dog pinata characters in The Last of Us. As you wander through the dystopian wasteland reclaimed by nature that is The Last of Us, you'll stumble into a child's room. Sitting on their dresser are pinatas of Jack and Daxter, as well as a plushie of Nathan Drake sitting on the bed. Both references reflect Naughty Dog's storied history with PlayStation, including the many memorable characters they have created. And that'll be about it for this one. If you guys like what we're doing at Gaming Bolt, please consider subscribing to our channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.